Inside their tastefully furnished bedroom, beneath a chandelier dripping with crystals, Agnes lounged on a velvet-upholstered bed while James sipped from a glass of whiskey by the floor-to-ceiling window. The ambient glow from a gold-trimmed bedside lamp reflected off their silk sheets. Their life was the envy of many. A mansion in Banana Island, designer clothes, luxury cars. James, a respected structural engineer, had married Agnes 3 years earlier. She ran an upscale boutique in Lekki, all financed by James with help from his father's endless fortune. James's father, Chief Williams, owned one of Nigeria's top real estate empires. He was old money, respected, and incredibly wealthy. His reputation alone made James a hot cake. And Agnes, the stunning daughter of a once struggling trader, saw her chance at an easy life the moment she met him. That night, while scrolling through her gold-plated iPhone, Agnes suddenly turned toward James. "Baby," she said, stroking his arm, "do you know how much of your father's wealth will come to you?" James looked puzzled. "Why are you asking?" She shrugged, feigning innocence. "I mean, you're his only son. Your sisters will marry into other families. Naturally, you should inherit the bulk of everything. Just wondering." James blinked. "Agnes, are you praying for my father to die early?" Agnes laughed awkwardly. "What? No. I only had a strange dream, that's all." But James didn't smile. That night, he couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, Agnes's words playing on repeat. It didn't feel like a harmless question. It felt like a window into her true intentions. Weeks later, reality knocked. Chief Williams collapsed during a board meeting. James rushed to Lagoon Hospital, where the family gathered around his father's VIP suite. The old man looked weak, his once commanding voice reduced to a whisper. "My children," he began, eyes filled with regret, "I've lost everything. The business is gone. I took a bank loan to fund a government housing project. It was cancelled. I kept it from you all, hoping to fix things, but it broke me instead." James staggered back. His sisters wept. "The bank will reclaim the eco-mansion, the cars, everything. I'm sorry. I just wanted to leave a legacy." And just like that, he passed away without wealth ascendancy. Wealth, without a will, without warning. After the lavish burial, James sat with Agnes in their marble-floored living room, breaking the news. "He lost it all, babe. We have nothing left. Just this house and my job." Agnes removed her sunglasses slowly, her tone icy. "So, your father died broke?" James frowned. "I'm still here. I'm still earning." "I financed your boutique," she interrupted. "Let's be clear. I have my business. Don't come borrowing from me. I can't carry a grown man." James's heart shattered. That night, while the city lights twinkled through their massive window, he lay in silence. His wife had just revealed herself. And the truth wasn't beautiful. He decided if she only loved the riches, then he would let her see poverty. A week after that chilling conversation, James moved through the halls of their opulent mansion like a ghost. Every corner reminded him of what he once believed, that Agnes loved him. Now doubt clung to his soul like humidity in the Lagos heat. Agnes, as usual, was busy flaunting her lifestyle. She uploaded new photos on Instagram, designer handbags, champagne brunches with other Lekki housewives, and subtle captions like, "Boss lady moves. If you know, you know." James watched silently. Her boutique had grown rapidly thanks to the tens of millions he'd invested. From the customized logo on her boutique signboard to the imported furniture and stocked inventory, it was all his sacrifice. He wanted to see if her love could survive lack, even if it was fake. The following Monday morning, James stepped out in a wrinkled shirt and returned home unusually early. Agnes was sipping wine by the pool in a floral robe, her eyes hidden behind expensive Fendi shades. "Babe," he said quietly, "I lost my job." She froze. "What did you say?" "I was laid off." "No warning. Just a letter this morning. The company is downsizing." Agnes removed her glasses slowly, her expression twisted from concern to irritation. "So, no income." "Just like that." James nodded, watching her closely. "And you expect me to do what with that information?" she snapped. "Feed you? I just thought you'd support me till I bounce back." Agnes laughed bitterly and stood up. "Support you, James? I married into a wealthy family, not to start managing. I'm not going to downgrade my lifestyle for any man. I married you because I thought you'd inherit Chief's empire, not because I wanted to become someone's ATM." James's heart cracked again, deeper this time. "And so all of this, everything we had, was for the money." Agnes didn't flinch. "If your father hadn't been rich, do you think we would have even met? Let's not pretend, James. You know, girls like me don't look twice at broke men." She turned and began walking toward the house. James followed, stunned. "So, you're giving up on our marriage just like that?" She stopped at the door, turned with a smirk. "We don't have a marriage. We had a transaction, and now that the money's gone, so am I." That night, under the chandelier that once glowed on love, Agnes packed her designer suitcases, stepped into her white Mercedes, and drove off without looking back. James sat on the cold marble floor, staring at the door she'd slammed. His phone vibrated with pity messages from friends who saw her post, starting a new chapter. No time for broke energy. He didn't cry. He just stared. The woman he loved had left, and he wasn't sure if she ever loved him at all. But fate and karma were already on the move. 2 months passed. James's once vibrant mansion was now quiet, almost mournful. The absence of Agnes echoed in every room. The scent of her perfume had faded, but her betrayal lingered. Friends stopped calling. Gossip spread like wildfire, the engineer whose wife dumped him because of money. But James stayed calm. He had returned to work discreetly, not as an engineer, but consulting privately for a multinational firm on remote projects. He told no one, not even his sisters. He wanted time to heal and to watch. Then, on a calm Saturday morning, just as he stepped out of his G-Wagon to pick up some files, a knock echoed at his front gate. The security guard buzzed in a young woman. She walked straight to the door like she owned the place. It was Agnes. She looked glamorous as usual. Her lace gown shimmered in the sun, paired with gold heels and a Hermes handbag. Her nails were freshly done, lips painted red, confidence blazing. James opened the door slowly. "Agnes," he said. She smirked. "Relax, I didn't come here to beg." James said nothing. She reached into her bag and pulled out a gold-trimmed card. "My wedding is next weekend. Thought I'd be kind enough to invite you." James blinked. "Your wedding?" She nodded proudly. "Victor, he's from an oil family. Real money, old connections, unlike your late father who went broke chasing federal contracts." James stared at her, stunned. "You left me, and barely weeks later, you're engaged." Agnes laughed. "That's what smart women do. Upgrade." Then she handed him the invitation, turned with a smug grin, and strutted off to her parked Range Rover, the engine humming like her pride. James stood frozen, card in hand. On the wedding day, curiosity, or maybe dignity, pushed him to attend. Dressed in a sleek black kaftan and designer sunglasses, he arrived at the luxury outdoor venue in Victoria Island. Champagne towers, imported flowers, a live band flown in from Ghana. It screamed wealth. He quietly took a seat at the back, away from the cameras, away from the whispers. But then something unexpected happened. A group of ladies nearby were gisting. One, unaware of James's identity, said, "You know, Agnes divorced her ex-husband because he went broke. The other laughed. She's gold digger Promax, but this new man is loaded. She caught a bigger fish. James closed his eyes and sighed. Just then, an older man in a regal white agbada approached. He had been watching James from afar. "Excuse me," the man said, smiling. "Are you James Williams?" "Yes," James replied cautiously. The man beamed. "You look just like your father. He changed my life. Sent me abroad to study construction when I was nothing. I owe him everything." James was stunned. "You knew my dad?" "Knew him?" The man chuckled. "He made me. And now it's my turn to give back." He paused, then added, "I owe him money. A debt I've been saving for years, and since he's gone, it belongs to you." James stood beside the older man, stunned into silence. The wedding continued in the background, drums, laughter, dancing. But James's mind had left the party. "You said you owe my father?" James asked, his voice low. The man, now looking serious, nodded. "Yes. Chief Williams changed the course of my life. When I had nothing, he saw my potential and paid for me to study architecture in the U.S. I'd promised him that when I made it, I'd return everything." James's chest tightened. The man smiled again. "My name is Chief Okonkwo. I own Empire Towers Group now. We build estates in Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Ghana. Your father laid the first brick of my success. I've waited years to repay this debt, and now you're here." James managed a smile. "Thank you, sir. I don't even know what to say." Chief Okonkwo leaned in and handed James a card. "There's a private account. The money has been growing interest over the years. I'll transfer it to you after this event. And listen, I'd like to partner with you. I know your father trained you well." At that moment, a thought flashed across James's mind. "Are you the father of the groom?" Chief Okonkwo smiled faintly. "Yes, Victor is my son." James's heart dropped. The man tilted his head. "And you are a friend of the bride?" James took a breath. "No, sir. I'm the ex-husband of the bride." Silence. For a moment, it felt like even the music had stopped. Chief Okonkwo blinked. "Ex-husband?" James nodded. "Yes. Agnes left me the moment my father died and we lost the company. She said she only married me for the money. I thought she loved me, but she just wanted an inheritance." The older man's eyes narrowed. Without a word, he turned around and signaled for his son and wife. Minutes later, the four of them stood in a private room at the venue. "Agnes," Chief Okonkwo said calmly, "do you know this man?" Agnes froze. "Yes, that's James, my ex." "Ex or ex-husband?" he pressed. Agnes hesitated. "Ex-husband." Victor stepped back, shocked. "Wait, you were married before?" Agnes grabbed his hand. "I didn't tell you because it wasn't important." Victor pulled away. "You lied to me." Chief Okonkwo's face darkened. "You married and dumped this man because his father's fortune disappeared, only to chase after my son for the same reason." Agnes's face twisted. "It's not like that." The chief raised his hand. "I will not have a woman like you in my family. Victor, cancel this wedding immediately." Victor didn't hesitate. "I agree." Minutes later, the announcement was made. "Ladies and gentlemen, due to personal reasons, the wedding has been cancelled." Gasps filled the venue. Agnes stood frozen, humiliated. She tried to speak, to explain, but no one listened. Her dream wedding collapsed around her, and James walked away, dignity intact. By the time the guests started leaving, Agnes sat alone under the golden arch where vows were supposed to be made, tears ruining her makeup. A plan had failed. Karma had arrived in a luxury car, and it looked a lot like James. Weeks passed. The cancelled wedding became the talk of Lagos high society. Blogs, gossip groups, and Instagram pages all told the same story. Agnes dumped her ex-husband for wealth and lost everything at the altar. The boutique she once flaunted began to lose customers. Her staff left one by one, unpaid. Suppliers demanded money. Victor's father had influence, and no one in the upscale business circle wanted to associate with a woman publicly humiliated by the Okonkwo family. Agnes sat inside her now half-empty boutique, hair undone, makeup smudged from tears. The bright, polished luxury space she once bragged about now felt like a hollow box. She hadn't seen James since the day of the cancelled wedding. Meanwhile, James's life took a different turn. Chief Okonkwo transferred a staggering $120 million into James's account, honoring the debt and years of interest. But more than that, he gave James a position as Director of Engineering Partnerships in his firm. Within weeks, James was back in power, only this time wiser, stronger, and with deeper connections. He bought a new duplex in a private estate and launched a tech-driven construction consultancy, JW Development. His name once again rang across the city, not because of his father's wealth, but because of his own rise from betrayal to breakthrough. Then one bright afternoon, James was driving his sleek white Range Rover through Ape when something caught his eye. At a roadside stall under the scorching sun, a slim woman stood selling bread and soft drinks. He slowed down. It was Agnes. Her once flawless skin was now dull from stress. She wore a faded wrapper and a plain top. Her hair, once proudly Brazilian, was wrapped in a scarf. She noticed the Range Rover and turned quickly, but it was too late. James had already parked. He stepped out slowly, dressed in a sharp designer kaftan, his wristwatch glinting in the sun. People around began whispering. Agnes's eyes welled with tears as she looked up. "James," she whispered. James looked at her, calm. "No need to cover your face, Agnes. I know it's you." She fell to her knees. "I'm sorry. Please." Everything collapsed after that wedding. The shop is gone. Friends vanished. I was wrong. I was blinded by greed. James said nothing for a while. Then he pulled out a white envelope. "I'm getting married next month," he said quietly. "Here's the invitation." Agnes stared at the gold-lettered card, her hands trembling. "Please," she cried. "Even if you can't forgive me, help me. Give me any job, cleaner, anything. I just want to feed myself." James looked into her eyes. "I forgave you the day you walked out, but now you know. Money can't buy character." He handed her his card. "Call me tomorrow. I'll see what I can do." Agnes wept deeply as James stepped into his car and drove off, leaving behind dust and a heavy dose of truth. The next morning, James sat in his private office at JW Developments, reviewing building plans for a luxury estate in Abuja. The office oozed class, floor-to-ceiling glass walls, polished marble floors, and subtle gold decor that reflected his new identity, a man refined by pain, not ruined by it. His intercom buzzed. "Sir, someone named Agnes is here to see you," his secretary said. James hesitated for a second, then replied, "Let her in." Agnes walked in slowly, dressed in a simple blue gown, modest, clean, but nothing like the high-end fashion she once wore. Her face was bare of makeup. For the first time, she looked human. Humbled. "Good morning," she whispered, barely able to meet his eyes. James gestured for her to sit. She lowered herself into the chair, clutching her handbag tightly. "I called, like you said," she began. "And I came because I have nothing. I know I don't deserve your help, but I'm not here to beg for pity. I just need a job, something to earn honestly." James looked at her for a moment, reading the sincerity in her eyes. "I have a friend," he said slowly, "who runs a catering business. They need someone for logistics, packaging, and admin. It's not glamorous, but it's a start. I can get you in on one condition." Agnes looked up, hopeful. "Anything. You work like you've never seen luxury before. No entitlement, no shortcuts." She nodded quickly. "I will. I promise." James handed her a small envelope. "That's a monthly transport stipend. The rest you'll earn." Agnes opened it, and 100,000. She gasped. "Thank you, James. Thank you so much." James leaned back. "You know, I don't hate you. What you did broke me. But it also built me. You thought you buried me, but you were planting me." Agnes lowered her eyes, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I don't expect forgiveness," she whispered. "But you already have it," James replied. "Now go, show the world who you can become." She nodded and stood up, wiping her face. As she left the office, James looked out the window, lost in thought. The pain had passed, but the memory remained, not to hurt him, but to remind him never to ignore red flags again. That evening, as the sun set over the city, James walked into a luxury bridal showroom in Victoria Island. A stunning woman in an emerald green gown turned and smiled. "Babe," she beamed, "you came early." "I couldn't wait," James smiled, pulling her into a gentle hug. "Only a few weeks left till I call you my wife." She laughed, radiant. "The wedding planner said, we're getting RSVPs from governors and CEOs. It's going to be the wedding of the year." James kissed her forehead. Not just a wedding, a fresh start with real love. Outside, the world still spun, but inside James's heart, peace had finally returned, and this time it came wrapped in grace, not gold. The sun beamed brightly over the private beach in Eco-Atlantic, as a luxury convoy of black G-Wagons and Rolls-Royces pulled into the venue. White tents decorated with golden trims lined the sand, and violinists played softly under a floral archway that looked straight out of a fairy tale. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a spectacle. James Williams, son of the late Chief Williams, now a self-made multimillionaire and CEO of JW Developments, was marrying Adana, a graceful Harvard-educated entrepreneur from a powerful diplomatic family. The guest list was jaw-dropping: senators, tech billionaires, business moguls, even a former vice president. Paparazzi were stationed at the entrance. Drones hovered in the sky, capturing the event from every golden angle. James stood at the altar in a tailored white agbada embroidered with silver thread. His face glowed with calm satisfaction. Every trial, every heartbreak had led him to this moment. As Adana walked down the aisle, the crowd stood mesmerized. She was elegance and peace personified. James's heart swelled. This was real. No hidden motives, no questions about inheritance, just love. The officiant began. But elsewhere, a different scene unfolded. At the back of the venue, hidden among palm trees, Agnes stood barefoot in the sand, wearing a faded dress. Her once polished nails were chipped, her wig rough and poorly fixed. She had arrived quietly, not to disrupt, but to witness what she had lost, and what she would never regain. She watched in silence, her heart thudding painfully in her chest. Tears streamed down her face as James and Adana exchanged vows. "I promise to love you, not for what you have, but for who you are," Adana said, voice steady. "I vow to protect your peace, share your burdens, and cherish your presence in wealth or in lack," James replied. The words pierced Agnes like arrows. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, the cheers were deafening. Fireworks exploded above. Dancers flooded the aisle. Cameras flashed. Agnes turned away, clutching her chest. She walked slowly along the shore, barefoot in the sand, trying to hold back sobs. Her dreams were gone. Her greed had destroyed everything. Back at the reception, James was handed the microphone. He stood up, took a deep breath, and smiled. "Today isn't just about a new chapter," he said, voice echoing through the speakers. "It's proof that pain doesn't have to define us, that when love is true, it finds its way." The crowd clapped thunderously. Hours later, as guests toasted champagne and danced to live bands, James stepped aside to take in the moment. He spotted a familiar figure in the distance walking away. He knew it was Agnes, but he didn't call her back. He simply whispered, "May you heal and never forget." Then he returned to the woman who chose him for his soul, not his bank account. As the night sky lit up with fireworks, James held Adana close and smiled. Love had won, and this time it was forever. If you were James, would you have told the groom's father that you were Agnes's ex-husband and exposed her past, or would you have stayed silent and walked away quietly? Let me know your answer in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional stories.